Hi guys, this is Kristen Noe Jukes, and today I'm going to show you how I kind of make some DIY sticker tapes or washi tapes. And I mean, obviously they're not made with washi paper, but what I do is I get this full sheet sticker paper or label paper from Office Depot or Staples, or they probably even sell it at Target. And I'm just using my little like Martha Stewart paper cutter to slice up some strips in different sizes. So I did like one big one and a bunch of little ones. And I'm just going to play around with a bunch of different media on them and mostly some Tim Holtz products. So these are the distress spray stains, and I don't know how I feel about these. I guess I don't really like them all that much. Like, they make cute little splatters, but I feel like they're so messy and they get everywhere and my fingers get super stained, but it's okay. So I sprayed a few, and then I didn't want to waste this nice spray, so I spritzed it with a little water with my little tiny mister, and I'm just putting it on these pages in my sketchbook to kind of make a cool background at this point, because I didn't want to waste all that nice ink. And then I'm going to try and clean up between each thing that I do with my little like chamois cloth thing that I have wet. So now I'm going to be using these Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks, and I really like these because they're definitely more opaque. And then when you spray them down with the spritzer, they make these little water drops, and you can like dip your paper into them, and then it makes some really cool like oxide effects. And I think, yeah, I walked away for a little bit to fill my spritzer. Um, and I dabbed up a little bit of the extra water. But I just kind of lay the paper down and it picks up the ink and makes these really cool splotches. And I like to use this for backgrounds, for drawings and things as well. So here I just did it for the background of this tape and a few other things, a few other little tapes. And I just love this ink because of the way that it sits on the page. And you'll see when I show you later, it's like kind of more pastel looking, which is cool. And by the way, what I have down on my table is one of these silicone mats. So this here is actually the little tiny distress inks, and I'm just doing like a cute little checker pattern, seeing how this will turn out. So, and again, I like spritz it down, and I'm just playing around here. I've looked at a bunch of these techniques like on YouTube from Tim Holtz and things like that, and they're just really interesting. I don't feel like Tim Holtz is my aesthetic at all. Like, I'm not really into browns or like that steampunk look, but I really am into like bright colors and things. So I really like a lot of his little distress inks because they are bright colors. So I did another spritz with the distress ink stains, and gosh, they make such a mess, but it looked really cool. And I pulled out my hair dryer to dry this a little bit, and I think I dabbed it off with a paper towel or my chamois, and I think this looks pretty cool. I like the layered kind of look to it. As I'm trying to dry these, they're going away. Um, yeah. So now I'm going to take one of these colored brush markers, and throughout this I use some of the Jane Davenport and then some of the Paperchase brush markers, and I just draw a few little designs and you know, some patterns on the tape, and I really like how this looks. Before I got the distress inks, I used to just use these kind of brush markers on sticker paper to make my own washi. And the thing I also like to do is draw on a full page and then also use the Martha Stewart paper cutter to slice it up. So here I'm using a Tim Holtz stencil, and I'm going to take these little distress inks and then one of these little distress ink daubers, and I'm just gonna like pounce that through this stencil. And this is like a lace look stencil, and I think it's really cute. I used green paint on it and I couldn't get it off, as you could see, but it's fine, it's dry now. So I kind of like this lace kind of look, and I think this one is kind of done. So then I go back to one of these and I take another Tim Holtz stencil, and this is like a cute little polka dots, and I use this like vintage rose, I think, color to kind of dab on some pattern here, and I think it looks really kind of cool, like some kind of snake skin or something. I really like how the Distress inks look with the Dauber. It almost looks like airbrushed look because you're kind of like rubbing it in. It looks really cool. And then I decided to take this like burlap one, and I tried to use the Distress ink pad, but that didn't really work, so I put a new little Dauber thing on the end of the Dauber, and I just used this one. And I like these oxide inks for when you put them on the silicone mat and then spray them with a mister and then pick up the ink, but I'm not sure how I like them just using them with stencils or stamps. Then it's like, okay, that's fine. So I took the gray color that I had, this dark gray, and I went over it again kind of in a different placement, and it just creates a lot of depth and a lot of interest, and I think these are super cool. I love these stencils from Tim Holtz. I wish he had more, and I wish he had some more like really graphic looking ones, because he's got a lot of organic ones and ones that are a little bit more like shabby chic, but I have like a lot more of a like kind of graphic, like modern style, and I just wish that he had more of that. So here I'm using one of these Paperchase brush marker things, and I'm just like adding little strokes and things to give some interest. I'm not really being too careful. I like how these look like kind of messy, and then because the tapes have such straight edges, I feel like they add to designs in my planner and in my art journal really cool. So I just like making my own washies, kind of, if you can call it that. It's more like just putting my artwork on sticker paper so I can stick it in my journal and use it as kind of a design element. Here I'm using a red corally color and a magenta. I'm just like smearing it around. I think it looks so cool when you kind of blend the colors together. It looks pretty sweet. And I think I spritzed it down, but it didn't really do much. On sticker paper, I find that when you spritz the Distress inks on the paper, it doesn't really do much. But if you have like a thicker cardstock, when you spritz it, it adds like little white dots and stuff like that. It looks really, really cool. So I'm like pretty obsessed with these Tim Holtz stencils. This one's more of like a Victorian damask, and I just used the brown and the dark gray to kind of like pounce the ink, and I lined up the stencil and put it down the bottom, which you can't see off camera. Yeah. Wiping up my surface again. I love this mat. It's a Fisker's mat, and I'll leave a link to it in the description box. It's from Amazon, and I can't remember how much it was, but it is awesome because I can just wipe it down after I use so much media, and I'm not getting ink everywhere, and I'll probably give it a good clean after a while because it's getting kind of like gray and kind of like muddy, but it's pretty sweet. So here I want to add a little bit of that oxide thing to the edges, so I kind of just like swiped it through the ink after I sprayed it and gave it like that weird little white oxide look on the edges. I love these inks for that. They look really, really cool, and I'm not normally into this like messy look thing, but lately I have been, and I'm going over to the Tim Holtz dark side. Not really my style, but I'm enjoying it. Here I'm just spraying these down with more of that distress stain. I think my verdict on these is that I don't like them. But, yeah, I pretty much put stuff on top of these. So I'm going in with that Paperchase brush pen again and kind of just making some cool looking stripes. Maybe I'll use this one for Halloween for next week. I'm not really a Halloween person, but I could do like a black and white style kind of spread, I guess, for my art journal or stuff like that. And I decided, I was like, ooh, I wonder what it would look like if I inked up, sprayed some water on those ink scribbles and put that on some tape. So I got some like mottled watercolor-y effect. And here I go trying to blow dry these, and they fly around again. You know, I love this blow dryer for my hair, but not for arts and crafts. For my hair, it's awesome because it is very, very powerful, because I have very thick hair. But for crafts, it is too powerful. So here I am laying them all out, and I'm super happy with how they turned out, and I hope you enjoyed seeing me play around with these and playing around with the Tim Holtz inks and the stencils, and I hope you guys, tune in for my next video. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up, and I would love if you subscribed. I have a bunch of other videos I'm still working on in October this week, or this month, and I will come up with some new stuff soon. So thanks for watching.